Picking up the primordial rune comes with one major drawback: a beam of light that insists on following above his head. That means, for the next 10 days, Lin will be exposed right under everyone's nose. Confident as ever, he doesn't really care. This time, instead of others hunting him, Lin declares he'll be the one doing the hunting. He tells himself it's time for a massacre. And with that, the next scene shows him shooting into the sky. His first target, he decides, will be the dragon. After all, those fleets are hard to miss, and he's been curious about their war general-level puppets for a while now. Maybe, he notes, they're already preparing for war. However, what we should be most surprised by, though, is that Lin actually changed clothes for the occasion. Anyway, the dragon immediately notices the blazing red pillar piercing the sky. Someone, they realize, has obtained the primordial rune. Within seconds, their fleet changes course. The commander shouts new orders, telling the entire army to move out and capture it. Half a day flies by, and Lin finally meets the first wave of enemies. The fleet was bigger than last time, with countless ships stretching across the horizon. He didn't expect them to deliver themselves right to his doorstep. One detection spell later, and he sees the space around them swarming with level 70 dragon spearmen, packed tight like an army of ants. He calculates there must be hundreds of warships here, possibly close to 1,000. If each held about 100, then he would be facing nearly 100,000 enemies in total. Lin wonders, half amused, where the dragons even got enough materials for such mass production. The dragon commander spots him instantly. Pointing a furious finger, he declares that Lin has slain countless of their people, and thus he must die. After all, it's the Dragon King himself who ordered it. Suddenly, the ship's magic arrays begin to hum, pink circles of power lighting up as the fleet starts absorbing lightning energy from nearby. Lin notes, somewhat impressed, that they're planning to weaponize the local storm's electric charge. It makes sense, he admits. But then he laughs, saying all right, then remarks inwardly, let's see how that goes. The commander gives the order. Immediately, beams of energy shoot toward Lin, each strike hitting perfectly, bursting with crackling thunder. Meanwhile, our boy was inundated with system messages informing him that lightning element immunity had been activated. Around him, a shimmering barrier absorbs every hit, dissolving each bolt into harmless light. Lin remarks dryly that, unfortunately for them, these types of attacks are useless. The commander panics. He asks how it's possible. With so many ships, even a divine level wouldn't stand unscathed. He suspects Lin must have some powerful item or ability. Either way, he yells, all forces attack. In the next instant, figures leap from the ships like meteors, while Lin calmly summons his skellies. Led by the Lich General, the trusty skellies instantly form a wall before him. The skeletal berserkers charge forward, clashing head-on with the dragon spearmen. For Lin, these are all juicy experience points. Looks like another level up coming. As the Lich General casts buffs on the little skellies, Lin follows up with mighty soldiers. Since the dragons want to fight so badly, he figures they should taste real power. The skeleton's strength surges. With massive axes raised high, they rush in. One of the dragons gets too close, and the next second, an arrow pierces his skull. He falls from the sky like a rock. The same scene repeats again and again, though each time a skeletal berserker catches the corpse midair, grabs it by the ankles, spins it around, and hurls it straight back into the enemy lines. Because really, what's more efficient than a good old-fashioned corpse explosion? Lin announces gleefully that it's been far too long since the last firework. With the mighty soldier buff, the explosions hit even harder. Corpses detonate in the midst of the dragon ranks, one after another. The skellies keep cleaning up stragglers, while Lin, meanwhile, goes into full spell spam mode. The blast radius expands with every cast, and nearby warships start falling victim to the chaos. The dragon immediately senses trouble. The commander barks orders to activate the protective barrier at full power. Just then, shimmering barriers spring up across the fleet. Even so, the warships keep trembling under the endless chain of explosions. Inside, the crew breaks into a cold sweat, unsure if they can hold out. Soon enough, cracks start appearing on the barriers, and the real dragons on board begin to panic. The commander quickly orders a retreat, adding that the ships must be preserved above all else. But the command comes too late. In the very next instant, the ships in the very front had their barriers shatter one after another. Many try to turn, but before they can even adjust course, they begin falling like dominoes. The shattered dragon warships plunge from the sky, crashing violently into the ground and exploding for the second time. The corpse explosion continues to ripple outward, bursting through yet more barriers until the sky seems to rain fire with warships falling like shooting stars. Meanwhile, Lin watches in amusement, and a grin spreads across his face. He stood there like a menace, almost admiring his own chaos, calling it beautiful, but the dragon commander is horrified. He cannot understand how this is happening. Less than a minute, and already they've lost over 200 warships, not to mention more than 4,000 soldiers. Whatever the case, he decides, they must withdraw. He orders a full retreat, telling every surviving vessel to return to base immediately. Fortunately, the destruction bought them just enough time to turn around, and within moments, the fleet vanishes into the distance. Lin watches them go, tugging at his collar thoughtfully. He remarks that it's fine. Let them run for now. After all, if they don't return to base, how else is he supposed to find out where and how they're mass-producing those world general-level puppets? Ever since he first saw them, he had a bad feeling about them. He reasons that if the dragon keeps developing at this rate, soon they'll have puppets exceeding level 80, and that would spell disaster for humanity. With that, Lin dashes off in pursuit, following the fleet's trail. Nearly an hour later, he finally finds them. Countless warships are docked beside a strange floating structure. Lin blinks in surprise, saying the dragons have built a flying fortress. He wonders aloud why they'd invest so much manpower and resources. Could it be that they are trying to guard some sort of secret? Suddenly, something bursts from the fortress. The dude looked a little different from ordinary dragons, most notably the pair of horns on its head and its face shape. Lin immediately recognizes this was a sign of atavism, meaning this one must be their leader. The dragon leader, having noticed Lin long before, descends before him in an instant. He looks astonished that Lin actually dared to follow. Lin doesn't bother with words, telling the dude he's not here for diplomacy. Between their races, it's already a fight to the death. The dragon leader roars an order. Every warship, every fortress cannon, annihilate Lin at once. This time they're ready. All ships, and even the fortress itself, activate their protective barrier in unison. From inside, countless dragons soar outward, this time with much higher stats. Lin quickly notes that these are the true dragon warlords, not those weak puppets. Even so, he remained calm, maybe even a little excited. Summoning his scythe, he used soul summons. A heartbeat later, the divine poisonous thunder beast materializes. The big boy's body, even in soul form, was wreathed in lightning and toxic mist. Then, one by one, the little skellies appear around him, and Lin's expression darkens. Lin then pulls out a single drop of the poison god's essence blood, and the dragon leader freezes. He can feel the divine aura emanating from it. He demands to know what it is, but Lin offers no reply. Instead, the droplet dissolves into a green fog that spreads like wildfire. The leader instantly senses its strength but scoffs nonetheless, claiming that poison won't affect their ships or the fortress. Lin lets out a smirk, laughing as he asks if that's so, then points his scythe forward and commands the big boy to charge. The big boy rushes straight toward the dragon, greedily absorbing the nearby poison mist, gathering it bit by bit inside its mouth. At this moment, none of the dragons dared to move, standing tightly within the fortress barrier. The next second, the big boy unleashes venomous blast. The leader senses the threat and tries to stop it, but it's already too late. Terrifying energy bursts outward, the poison instantly tearing through the barrier. Many who fail to react in time are melted alive, their bodies dissolving on the spot. What's worse for them is that right behind them, the warship barriers also begin to crack one after another. The leader quickly orders everyone to get out of there. However, even if they manage to flee, the warships cannot pivot fast enough, let alone the colossal fortress, which cannot move at all. The mist continues eroding everything, and just seconds later, the fortress slowly melts away until in just moments, it collapses completely. Lin, meanwhile, suddenly notices something inside the fortress. Looking closer, he's shocked to see what appears to be a secret realm entrance. He then realized the secret they were protecting all along is, in fact, a secret realm. The dragon leader, furious, realizes he can't save the fortress but must stop Lin. He orders everyone to abandon the warships and join forces to kill Lin, emphasizing that humans must never get their hands on the secret realm. Lin only sneers, saying they can't protect it, and declares that from now on, the secret realm belongs to him.